off-road guy here, and today we're gonna be installing AEV's rear bumper. I ordered a bunch of AEV parts for my truck, for my other truck, and decided to get the wife her bumper that she's been wanting. So I'm gonna be installing that today, and first thing is, not too hard, is removing the old bumper, which it's only held on by 4 bolts and 2 nuts. So you just have to remove 2 bolts from here and the other side, and then 2 nuts from here, and then of course you know, all the license plate light, backup sensors, and where's the, oh yeah, trailer lights, and of course the other tail light, license plate light. And also you need to remove these brackets, which, funny thing is, I don't see a real purpose for them at all. They don't seem to do anything, but I guess Dodge felt that put them on there. Kind of unusual, I think. And first thing you need to start by doing is cleaning off of this section with soap and water. This section right here, because you have to put some vinyl protectant on. And as you can see, I've installed, if you can see right here, I've installed it already, and it goes and actually wraps around the corners too. So I think the bottom section of the truck here is going to be exposed more, so they're putting vinyl on to try to protect the paint, and so you don't get your bed all rusted out. Alright, right here we have one of the biggest pieces of the bumper, and when I say pieces, there is a lot of different parts for this bumper. There's probably at least 100 or more pieces, with bolts and stuff, but it's not the normal bumper you kind of put together, this one. But I got the 2 of the park sensors installed, and like, they thought of a lot of things on I guess the newer trucks have some TPMS module down here, and 360 cameras. And AEV thought of all this. This truck only has park sensor harness, 2 lights for the license plate, and a plug for the trailer harness. And of course I have an air hose because we put an air compressor on this. So there's I just installed a plug for the TPMS sensor and hardware, and I ordered this with the light brackets, so they're partially installed right now. Which, there's not much to those light brackets. I forget how much I paid for them, but they're just the 2 brackets here and 2 screws that bolt on. And then one weird part is that this is the grip for it. There is 8 little nubs. See right here, you put these little clips on. For some reason, you take and trim one off. So just take and put these and alright, so I got the license plate cover put on already. I already mounted that. You gotta mount that. Put they made this license plate bracket, which it's held on with 1, 2, 3, and 4. They bought all 4 of those, got nuts on the other side, which means you have to take in, basically on that one, I had the wife I pulled the tailgate out and lifted it up and out of the way a little bit as I took and mounted it. That's how these are on the harder side to get to, the nuts. I don't know why they just didn't take into tack weld the nuts on the backside before they powder coated. I wish if it wasn't powder coated, I would take and do that myself. That would make this a lot easier to install. Because for some little. All right, so the next step is see this bracket. It's wraps around the frame. This is the inside, and 2018 in lower trucks, they're saying a wiring harness. So I had to undo this one and pull this one off. I was able to snake it behind, and then I just pushed this one in. But this plate blocks where this goes. And then you have to also, as you can see, drop the spare tire. And here's the spare tire heat shield. And you have to pull, it takes a 10mm socket, take and pull out those 3 screws out of the frame, which then allows you to take and bend this back. And as you can see, I've slid the bracket in and have gotten 1 bolt in. I'm having a little trouble because I ran an air hose nearby, so I'm having to reroute that air hose for the back. So that's the next step. Alright, so the next step is you see a hole right there. These 2 bolts, those are what hold the hitch on. They go through the frame and hold the hitch on. As you can see on the inside, you can see the welded on nuts on the inside, and the bolts going through. So you need to take those 3 out, and then as you can see, I've started the install on the tube. But see, alright, this truck has an AEV high mark fender flares. So it's not if you got a regular truck, this is not going to be exactly the same. But still, I believe this is the part of the factory stuff. And AEV doesn't mention anything about cutting that. And look at how we're not lined up. I can't move it anymore up and into place. So I'm going to have to take it. I see right there. I'm going to have to take and cut there. And I was thinking on the other side of this line all the way down. So I got that side hooked up, and I got most of the trim, and I might have to do a slight bit more so there's no rubbing. And then I got the big cast piece, which is held on by, you see one, and then you should see a second bolt back there. So I just have to get those bolts threaded in. Then I'll start working on all the getting those in there. Alright, here it is all put together in the final cut, which if you look back is quite a bit of material had to be cut off there. And another thing I find weird is that bolt sticking out so much. Alright, so next thing I did was it said in the directions to get this template, which I find is weird, is that it wasn't included in the directions. And when I go to their site, I couldn't find it. So I decided to just take, and they have like the template numbered. And so I took the number of the template and Googled it, and I came up on their side. I didn't see how to get there, but so you took and cut the template out, match it here, and that's how you know where to drill the hole for the you drill a 3/4 inch hole for the park sensor. And I find this next one really odd, is that you have to take and cut, it says cut a square out, and I'd used a what they call like an oscillating tool, which takes and goes back and forth really high speed but not very far, and took and cut out the squares. But it also says for 2018 and down to make more room for the connector, so I took and cut a little bit more this way. I still need to take and drill a hole, because it recommends taking and drilling a hole at the low spot, which if you look at it, because I assume in case water gets up in here, that it has somewhere to drain. So I'm going to take and drill a hole somewhere in this area. I still got to do that. And then the other thing is, I don't know if I used the wrong bracket in the wrong place, but I had to take and elongate the hole here so that it would line up with the screw. Otherwise the screw didn't line up at all. And I don't feel like taking the other bracket off and trying it, so I just took and ground the oblong the hole further. Alright, so as you can see, I took and drilled the hole, and also I installed one already, and as you can see, I had to expand it out because when this is in there, see, for that connector, it's going to need more room to go in. And then also on these, from Dodge, they come with these clear rings. You have to replace them with these black ones that go on. And another thing, see how this is plastic. This whole thing is not just plastic. And then they take and insert these basically nuts into the plastic. There's 6 of them that hold it down. And then also, as you can see right here, there's one for the backup sensor. Anywhere like that, at work we deal with this all the time. I'd recommend anti-seize those bolts, because if you get corrosion in here, what happens is you go to loosen it up and you keep torquing on it, and what'll happen is these will let go because the plastic's not strong enough to hold on to them when you get some corrosion in there. And then these will just spin, and that sucks. Because then the only other option you have is to basically get as many of them out, the bolts out, as you can, and the ones that won't come out, then your only option is to take and basically yank on it until this nut comes out of the plastic, because it's already spun. There's no way of. So if you just put some anti-seize on them all, anti-seize them, I imagine it'll be fine. Okay. Alright, so here it is. I am almost done with it. I haven't gotten lights yet that'll fit in there, which the light openings are really small. I wish they would have done at least like those normal cube lights size, but so here it is still. I got one last thing to do. I got to take and find a place for the air fitting, which I think I'm going to take and drill a hole like right there and have it sticking up. But here it is. And I did not go with the, basically they got like a tight exhaust tube or something. This just, I mean, it's the Power Wagon. I think it has a tight exhaust from the factory. Here's a straight on view. You can see the park sensor there, park sensor there. And one modification I did to what they did is this plate right here is held on. It is very difficult to get to the nuts behind it. So if you ever want to do anything, it's like it takes forever to get this thing off. So if you see right there, I took and drilled the hole out and put a nut cert in it. In this to hold this plate on. I don't know what they were thinking. Why didn't they just take and weld nuts on the backside, so all you do is put screws through to hold it on? But I don't know. I see room for improvement with this setup, but it's overall, I think it's a pretty cool bumper and it's a cool idea. We'll see how it turns out in the future as it wears and gets used. It's certainly the most complicated bumper I've ever come across. So, till next video, see you then.